Okay, so welcome to the H-1B CAP fiscal year 2026. Selected what is next. Very happy that you are all here with me. And maybe, let me see, Danny, can I forward the slides or you're gonna have that to do? Okay, can I do it or you're gonna have to do them for me?
It's me.
Okay, well, thank you. So maybe when I stop talking. So you were selected. Let's get you approved. This is what I'm going to be talking about. And some of you may have watched the presentation from last year that is on my YouTube channel. And for many of you, that have asked, what can I do? How can I prepare? We said, go ahead and start watching that. So this is updated to what's happening today and some of the things that have changed since last year. So there is new H-1B rules that are in place. I will explain that for you. Key timelines, what to prep, what to expect after the filing, travel. Already quite a few of you have emailed us about traveling before, after, in between, and how to stay calm and confident as best you can in an evolving world of immigration. And for being here live with me, we are also going to you're going to see that there is some slides that said a gift for you, this will be coming, and some more that you will get. Next. I asked you a little bit before just to kind of get you warm up on the chat, but I'm going to ask you again. And this time I kind of want to give me a number. Go back. Give me a number as to how are you feeling in terms of, wow, I'm still under the shock of this happening. And 10, so that's the one. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to do. I'm shocked, with everything that is happening in the universe of immigration. And I'm afraid, I'm scared. That's a 1. Some of you may be in between. Some of you are a 7. Thank you. 10, let's do this. I was selected. I'm all in. I want to, let's win this battle. So tell me where you are. I see some numbers in there, 7, 6s. There's 15 of you, so I want to see at least 5 numbers in here. All right, cool. So many of you are in the middle. Again, my whole idea here is to give you confidence, peace of mind, make you feel better. So no matter where you're at in your numbers right now, we've got your back. We've been doing it for a while and we're happy to be doing this with you. And it's always teamwork. You've heard me say that before. I'm kind of proactively, the two slides that follow, that Danny can move forward. This is this is for you. I know we're all busy, and I'm guilty of being at this webinars and, multitasking, doing things on the behind. We're doing this for you. Very few attorneys literally take the time to do this personalized presentations for their clients. I spent probably 3 hours over the weekend working on this. Danny worked on this. The paralegals reviewed it. So take the best advantage of what we have. So for the next hour or so, be here with me. Interact in the chat because that's the best way that you can learn. Okay. And the next slide is going to say, every case is unique. Literally, I just came from an hour call with another client. And several times during that call, oh, but my friend does this, but my friend did that, and I know somebody that did the other. You're going to hear that. You're going to see that. Every case is unique. You're a unique person. You're a unique individual. You bring unique skills to the table. That's why you've been hired. And the information that I'm going to give to you here, it is general. I want you to ask questions, but again, if it is very personal, like my visa ends, blah, 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 what do I need to do next? Most likely I'm not going to answer that one. But if you have a question that is general that will benefit the group, by all means. Again, many of your questions are going to help others. So keep that in mind. Okay. Many of you have been working with me and our team for a year or two or more. Some of you, this is the first time under the H-1B cap and you were selected. So kudos to you. For those that don't know me, corporate immigration attorney, two-time immigrant myself from Cuba to Canada, Canada, the United States. I have been where you are many times in 2 countries. My outlet is being an endurance athlete. In fact, I'm running the Boston Marathon in 2 weeks from now, April 21st. So if you hear the news about the Boston Marathon, think of me. I will be there. And for those of you that are in Boston, I think there may be a few of you on the call that are from Boston. Yes. Tell me if you're from Boston. Send me an emoji. Yellow and blue or something on the chat. I will pass by and visit Kim. And if you're there, I would love to see you. Yay! I've taken the opportunity to do that when I'm in Boston, running Boston, and I love. Awesome. Thank you. So cheer for me. Foreign talent strategies, because I feel that we're more than that your immigration attorney. We do more than just filing visas and green cards. There's a lot of strategy in everything that we do for your benefit. And author Beyond the H-1B, and you're going to hear about my new book that is launching tomorrow, The Corporate Immigration Advantage. I'm telling you all of this because the ability to do what I do today, the benefit of the services that you're getting from us are the result of all of that. 20 years of experience, 20 years working on this field. My whole goal is to make immigration, make this process that can be so complex and overwhelming, easier, clearer, and empowering for you. I want to leave this call today feeling I'm comfortable and confident. They've got my back. I got this. I can relax. Okay. All right. Next slide. Drop the number in the chat. How are you feeling about the process ahead? Well, this kind of repeats a little bit. I've asked you this twice, kind of, so I'm going to move on for the sake of time, just because we had some issues at the beginning. Okay. I told you that there are new rules for the H-1B, and I'm going to go through those on this slide. Some are things that have been there before. They're just being looked at in a potentially different way. One of them is the definition of a specialty occupation. Specialty occupation, as you may know, is kind of the definition of the H-1B, which for some people it's like, what does that mean? Well, specialty occupation in the immigration world means that your position requires at a minimum a bachelor's degree, and you have the skills to fulfill that position. Give you an example of what may not be considered a specialty occupation. You have, actually, this is not a specialty occupation for sure. Let's say you have a bachelor's degree in, I don't know, I'm just pulling something, literally in business administration. And you are offered a job and actually business administration, even though I don't think anyone in this call has a business administration degree, but it is a degree that many foreign nationals receive for its various benefits. But USCIS does not see that as a specialty because it's not specialized enough. So someone with a bachelor's degree in business administration with a minor or a major in finance and economics and marketing, we can elevate that to a specialty occupation. But just a basic business degree may not be considered a specialty occupation. For your cases, and I've looked at all of your cases as the paralegals work with you on them, I don't have anybody that we have a concern about the specialty occupation situation. However, you're going to hear us talk about project summaries. For many of you, because we have done similar cases in the past, we're basically revamping and refreshing those project summaries. For some of you that we don't have a project summary for your particular position, your paralegals will be working with you on that and with your employer. Also have a video about that later on. So that's all I have to say about a specialty occupation. Maintenance of a status has always been there also, but now it's being codified, meaning that we will be asking you, and we have in the past, but now it becomes even more important, that you send us your 3 to 4 last pay statements before we file. So don't go ahead and send them to us right now because we really need them just before filing. I'm going to go through the timeline of the estimated timeline that we have as a team for filing in a little bit. This two last ones that I have in a different color are the ones that potentially may affect you. That, well, one will, not potentially, because some of you are not going to be on the cap gap. But for those of you that will go into a cap gap, and again, I will explain that a little more, but in general, the cap gap benefits those that have an employment authorization document that ends saying, and some of you are in that situation, April, May, saying May, your employment authorization, actually some of you on the call, I think have an employment authorization that ends in April, and I'm calling those priority filings. Those are the ones that we're working on right now to be filed as soon as possible. Those of you that have, again, an employment authorization document that ends April, May, June, after that employment authorization ends, you kind of go, oh my God, what do? I don't have anything else. Well, the cap gap, as long as we file your petition and it's accepted, receipt by USCIS before your employment authorization ends, you fall into this cap gap period, meaning you have an automatic ongoing employment authorization through April of next year, which is huge because it used to be only until October. And if there were October of this year, October 1st, if there are processing delays, you were able to stay in the United States but not work. But now you can stay in the United States and you can continue to work. My only concern is many of you may be wanting to travel for the holidays. And if your H-1B, I mean, whenever USCIS does something good like this, it's because they are going to take advantage of it somehow. And the only thing that I could foresee is that they're going to not be as efficient in their H-1B adjudications. I hope that's not the case. And I hope all of you are approved before October 1st. That is what happened last year. If your petition has not been approved by October 1st, then you're legally here, able to continue to work, but you may not be able to travel until that H-1B is adjudicated, okay? So that's for the H-1B cap extension. And then something else that is brand new, mandatory work site visits. This used to happen before, but it was discretionary, meaning out of all the cases that we filed, maybe one in many got a site visit. We expect that there may be more in the future. For some of you, what that may mean is that a USCIS adjudicator may show up at your door at work or at home if you're working from home. It sounds scary, but you're all going to be in legal status and you're going to be fine. But I just want to proactively let you know that could happen. I have more information coming on that. I'm not going to take a lot of time on that here because for some of you, it may never happen. For some of you, it may happen once. So just know for now, this is just potential. All right, next slide. Okay, I'm going to skip this because I already kind of covered it, what the CapGap extension means. Key timelines. So what we did before, for some of you, we've been working on this since January, up until the registration period. That period is what I call planning a strategy. Of course, we're still doing planning and strategy right now, but there was a bulk of the work that we have already done proactively because we only have 90 days to prepare and file all of your petitions. So right now, what we are doing is preparing the labor condition applications. I'll explain a little bit more as to what that is, preparing and, preparation and filing. And for some of you, you will be filed in the next few weeks. Then document information gathering and preparation. Again, that's almost happening. Phases 2 and 3 are kind of happening at the same, are all happening right now. LCAs take 7 days to get certified. In fact, I actually got 3 certified this morning. So again, once we learned that you were selected and your employer said, yeah, we're going forward, we started filing some LCAs, and like I said, three got certified this morning. So for those, we're moving on to the H-1B petition preparation and filing, just the final stage. I aim to file the team like about 50% of our petitions. The goal is to file them 50% by the end of April and the next 50% end of May. That's what we did last year. We had no problem meeting that timeline, and it was pretty awesome to feel for all of you and for us that everything was in the USCIS's hands and everything got approved before October. It was we got a pretty streamlined process going. Again, teamwork. Okay, next. Okay, some of you may have seen this, some of you may have not. So this is a gift for you. What we're going to do is after this presentation, by tomorrow, I want to say, you will get a link to some of the resources, one of them being this. Again, some of the things that I'm saying to you right now, you may say, what was that? What was the timeline? That's the other. This pretty much has a very nice layout of the timeline for the H-1B cap selection, and you will get a copy of that. Yes. Okay, pre-filings to do. Okay, this is what I break. Okay, let me stop right here. Let me drink. All right, this is your opportunity. Some of you, I'm assuming, you had some questions before you came in today. So this is your chance. Danny, go back to the prior slide if you can. What is your number one question right now about this process? Type it in the chat. I'm going to give you like a few seconds to do that. Okay, so come back to me if you're multitasking. And type in the chat, what is your number one question right now about the process? Okay, those of you are at 2, 0, 3, 5, even if you're not at 10, you probably have a question that you're wondering about. That's a good question. What else is out there? I will answer that. Anybody else? Okay, I will cover that. Okay. Okay. Well, those are all really good questions, so keep them coming. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes before I go into the next slide. Because again, this is all for you, and what some of you have similar questions, so one is going to help the other. And what I'm going to do is answer them as I go through, or answer them at the end, or some of you know that I do Q&As once a month, and I typically use questions that I have received or the paralegals have received during the month, or something that is important for you all to know that I answer in the Q&A. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions in here. Okay. I don't want to see an email to a paralegal after I finish this call. This is your chance. I'm just kidding, but this is your time. Okay, Danny, let's go to the next slide, and I will cover some of these as we go through the presentation or Q&A. Okay. So some of those in the call right now are employers, and you also kind of sometimes wonder what the employers need to provide. In some of these we already have. It's job description and salary. What your job description would be October 1st. That's what is going to count for your H-1B petition. In documents and information that we typically have already in the file as we did the due diligence. Worksite location as of October 1st. That is very important for the employers to give us, and for you to give us. So I will come back to that. Some of you are, say, architects, but are not licensed yet. You're in the process or something to that effect, or, you're engineers that don't have a license yet. If that is the case, we're going to be asking for your supervisor's license. Typically, we ask the employer, not you, but I'm just kind of letting you know. Okay, next slide. Employer considerations. And you're going to hear me talk about this again. Actually, these are employer considerations, but they're really also good for you to know. The labor condition application, go back. Danny, you're going too fast. Or this is being finicky. The labor condition application, the LCA, needs to be posted before we file it. And then there is a public access file that we prepare and give to your employer. This FICA question actually came out or has come up already. Many of you, if not all of you, that are in F1 status are exempt from FICA. FICA is Social Security and maybe Medicare deductions from your pay statements. But when you become an H-1B worker, you're no longer in F1 status. So your paycheck may go a little down or not. Who knows, depending on whether you have a raise or whatever it is. But just know that FICA exemption will end with H-1B status. They will also need to do a re-verification of your work authorization based on your new H-1B status. Cap gap, I already explained, and there was one of the questions here was, what happens if you miss the deadline to get a cap gap? Well, if the deadline is missed, which is not going to happen in my team, but if you did something yourself that would lead you to not being able to get the cap gap, for example, someone that did not apply for the STEM when they were supposed to, or something like that, it is a significant problem. And so it's, from my perspective, my job is, if you have an employment authorization that is valid and you are authorized to go into a cap gap period, my job, my team's job, is to get you filed while your H-1B is, while your employment authorization document is valid, so you can go into cap gap. If you did something that prevents you from getting into cap gap, that is not something that I can necessarily fix, and typically is something that you have to work out with the school, because they're really the ones that carry or maintain your service records. I cannot touch them. I have no access to them. I don't see them. So it's a school and for a national kind of situation. If that, I don't know if that answers the question, but for some of you, someone else I think asked about, and if not, I'm going to let you know that you do need to keep your DSO informed about what's happening with your H-1B filing. It is critical that they update your service record. Last year, we had a student that was on, I don't remember if he was on OPT or a STEM OPT, and we did the filing for the H-1B and the service wasn't updated. When the H-1B was filed, we got a request for additional evidence asking for maintenance of a status because the record had not been updated. So it was still showing under service that basically he had a gap in the status when in fact he didn't, because he was elected and the H-1B was filed and all of that. So for all of you, if you have not let your DSO know that you were selected for the H-1B cap, please let them know. I believe all of you have received your selection notices from the paralegals, and that's what they need to know to update their service. Once your H-1B is filed, we will also update you with that. And then when we get a receipt notice, that it will take a while after filing, but you will get a copy of the receipt notice. Please also provide that to your DSO. And when your H-1B is approved, please provide that to your DSO also, okay? Okay, H-1B status, it starts after October 1st, or when the petition is approved after October 1st, not before. Okay, all right, Danny, move on to the next slide, and let me see if I can, let me see. Okay, from the foreign nationals, educational credentials and translations. I believe that we received back slide. I believe we received that most, if not all of that, during the due diligence period in January, February, March. The things that we may not have up to date yet is all your I-20 signed and approved, especially the last one, okay? All your EADs front and back, if you receive something since we did the registration period for you. If you're in a STEM and you have an I-983 STEM training compliance program, we probably did not request this during the due diligence process, but we will probably need one in case we get a request for additional evidence, again, for maintenance of status. Pay statements, I already mentioned that. Project sample for some of you, okay? Back, now next slide. There's a question here. So should we let the school know if we have been selected? Yes, you do need to know that. You need to. So again, for all of you, 3 updates to your DSO. 1, that you were selected and you can send your registration notice. 2, when we file your H-1B petition, that you've been filed. And then when it gets approved, that you were approved. Okay, Danny, I think I have another one before this one. Yeah, employee considerations. Okay, so work location is becoming more and more critical as some of you are working hybrid, some of you move, some of you are working from home. So if you are strictly working from home, your home is your work location, and we need to know that, and that goes into your labor condition application. You also will have to post a notice in your home, as crazy as it may sound, and we will send you that. You post it in the fridge, in the door, whatever it is. We just need a signed document back that it was posted. Gap again, communications with the DSO. You know, sometimes, not always, you would obtain an updated I-20 with a gap endorsement. Sometimes you don't. That's okay. As long as they update the service record, that's what you need. Okay. Quite a few of you asked me if you should apply for the STEM. In the past, I would have said to all of you, yes, apply for your STEM because it's a backup option. If for example, if your H-1B approval gets delayed for some reason. Now that the gap has been extended through April of next year, this becomes a little bit less critical than it used to be. Okay. So I had that question here a few times. Should folks on OPT apply for STEM or not? So again, in the past, as of last year, my answer to that would have been an absolute yes. And if you heard me speak before, I tell you that a STEM, and I still believe a STEM is a gift for many of you that has allowed you to work for 2 more years waiting for the H-1B, you know, to get an H-1B. So it's an absolutely very valuable program. I think for some of you, we may have to just take it case by case. And so I'm going to leave it as that because I know it costs money. It's additional work for you and for the employer to apply for the STEM OPT. And you already were selected on the H-1B cap, which again, kudos, is huge. I think someone at the beginning said, you know, this is my 3rd time and I'm so lucky. So for some of you that you're coming right out of OPT into an H-1B is amazing. So I don't want you to do any extra work if you don't have to. So for now, let's just pause on that unless there's, you know, some unique situation for which we're going to say, yes, do apply for your STEM. Okay. And if you have dependents, a spouse, minor children, and many of you, some of you don't, some of you do, some of you don't. If you do, it is very beneficial to apply for their H-4s at the same time that we're applying for your H-1B. Now, that's not something that your employer is going to cover. That's something that you can ask your paralegal, the fees and the process, but it is to your advantage and to theirs so that the cases don't get completely, you know, disaligned in the mess of USCIS, that process gets done concurrently. Okay. Next slide. Okay. I mentioned a lot of this LCA already. For some of you, we already have it in process. What is really, really important is the location of employment, the notice of posting for some of you that is going to be uniquely at your home. That's the most that you need to know about the LCA. So next, I think the next one will apply to some of you, how to make your project sample shine. And this to me is not, I mean, I put it here for the project sample, but it's for your whole petition. I know that USCIS have piles and piles and piles of documents, and we aim to make your petitions shine. They're pretty, they're organized, they're a pleasure to look at, not a burden to look at. And the same goes to your project samples. There, we have a little video, so if you want to, you can scan that and you will get my video on how to create a project sample. Now, don't do it until your paralegal tells you we need a project sample for you because it takes time. And for some of you, I would probably say 70% of you, we have something to work with. So this is just FYI for some of you that may need it, okay? Next. Processing options. Okay, someone asked me about, you know, how soon can I file? How soon can I get approved? The priority filing for us, and I have mentioned this before in the prior webinar, and I actually mentioned here, I look at the, I look at the whole spectrum of everyone that we have to file. It is not who gets filed first necessarily because me, I'm prettier or whatever. Is for some of you, it is essential that we file first. Okay. And you would want the same if you were in that situation. So those of you that the cap gap, I need to file you so that because your employment authorization document is expiring in the summer and you don't have anything but the H-1B to keep you here, you are going to be a priority filing, and you already are. We are working on those cases. So those are the cases that are going to get filed first. How soon can you get and then again, I already told all of you our goal, just like it was last year, is to get half of our cap cases filed in April and the other half to get filed in May. So we're done. And what happened last year, so in terms of how soon can I get approved, is because we were so proactive in the way we file our cases, everybody was approved before the end of before October. Actually, most of them were approved in by September. Many of them were approved. The only ones that were approved later were the ones that got selected under the second lottery. Okay, so that brings me to this question that I also typically get: should I file premium? My recommendation is, and this is what we have done not just last year, but pretty much for as long as we've had this process, H-1B caps, I recommend filing regular filing. It's premium processing right now is almost $3,000. It is not worth it. And sometimes because USCIS is processing 85,000 petitions at the same time as yours, premium processing only puts more pressure on the adjudicator to potentially issue an RFE. So I will not recommend that for any of you, at least at this stage. Okay. So that kind of answers how soon can I file, how soon can it get approved. Likely, again, if things go like last year, hopefully before the end of October, before beginning of October. Next. Okay. So I also know that many of you, even after this webinar, are going to be emailing the paralegal saying, do you have anything? Do you need anything more? I haven't heard from you. I'm nervous. This is what we're doing behind the scenes, okay? We are working, have no doubt about it. We are putting, and again, our files, your H-1Bs are now going to be this big. This is probably an O or an L, but they are very organized, neatly prepared with dividers so that the adjudicator sees, this is a valuable employee. This is a valued employer. This people have it together. I'm not going to have any problems with this petition. This is what it looks like. It takes time to get there. We manipulate PDFs, we move things around to make it look pretty, again, to make you shine. So what we're doing, if you don't hear from us, it's not necessarily that we have ignored you in any way or that we're not working on your case. We are. It just takes time. And if we take time to just, send constant emails or respond to constant emails, we're never going to get there. We have the Blue Dot portal, which I'm sure you're all familiar with because you uploaded documents there. If we have documents that you need to upload or we need something else, we have been sending to some of you requests through Blue Dot saying, hey, replace this document, send us another document. Sometimes it's via email. But know that for all of you, we're actively working on your cases, okay? Next. Okay, so let me just go through what is here and let me see what I can answer before I get to post filing. So what happens if you miss the deadline? I answer that. STEM, I answer that. How can I get approved? I answer that. What is the major risk before getting H-1B visa from now? Like, will USCIS ask to provide more? Okay, so this is post filing. So I will answer that. I am on OPT right now and will not leave the United States until I have it. Yes, thank you. And I will touch on travel. Should focus upon I talked about the STEM. Are there site visits unannounced? They are unannounced. I don't have set days to work at the office and I'm often traveling. How can we know when they plan to visit? You don't. So again, the worksite visits, they're scary because they're unannounced. If you're not at home when they come and visit you, no, don't worry about it. Like I said, I will cover this and I've already done webinars on it. I have Q&As on it. So it's not worth, there's bigger things to worry about right now. Not to worry about, but basically to work on. So good question. I mentioned it here just because I do want you to be aware that that could happen. But nothing that I want you to go home and kind of think, oh my God, are they going to knock on my door? And they're certainly not going to knock at your door between now and October 1st. Okay, well, likely. So just put that in the bucket for the future. Is the living address matters during this process if I'm planning to move? Yes, it does. And this happens every year. So if you have an address that basically we have the address that you have. But if you move, and this is what has happened quite often, they move within the same building to a different apartment, or they move within the same, what is called metropolitan statistical area. So if you don't move from Boston to Seattle, or even from Boston to New York, as long as you stay within the same commuting distance, we may only have to file a new LCA and a new posting. Maybe, it depends. But if you know that you're going to move between now and October 1st, talk to your paralegal about it. And if you have the address of where you're going to be potentially moving to, it may be worth putting your current address and that address in the LCA. Again, that's a very specific, but just for you all, keep this in mind if there is a move happening, okay? Let the school know my work location has the headquarter address, which is located in Chicago, since IIT main office is there, correct? I work hybrid in Denver. Both my resident and work site are in Denver. Will this matter? Okay. This is again a para question. We may use the Chicago and the Denver offices, but check with your paralegal on that, because right now I have a lot of more stuff in my head and I don't want to give you an answer for a very specific case that may not be the right answer. Yes, again, if you are, like I said, again, now the moving questions are coming up. If you do think that you're going to be moving and you do have an address where you're going to be living, for the end of 2025, 26, 27, let your paralegals know, and potentially we can include that address if needed in your LCA, okay? Okay, hope that helps. Again, I don't want to create a lot of confusion or answer very specific questions that I don't have the full picture. I just want you to start thinking of things that ideally what I'm trying to do is prevent. Oh my gosh, you should have told us that after we file your LCA or after we file your petition or something like that, that could have been prevented ahead of time. Okay. All right. Post filing. Let's talk about that very quickly here. Okay, I already talked about the cap gap. And your I talked about the cap gap. I talked about the I-9 that is going to have to be re-verified. So don't be surprised if your employer wants to or ask you for do a new I-9. Most common requests for additional evidence, so post-filing, what could happen after I file? And that was one of the questions. The most common requests for additional evidence are going to be a specialty occupation, which I already cover, the employer-employee relationship, which I have not had an RFE on that issue in a while. I don't foresee that happening. Beneficiary qualifications, we do, that one is another one that I really haven't had an issue with. The one that potentially could happen is the beneficiary maintenance of a status. Again, that is a new focus of USCIS now. And these things, the RFE varies depending on what USCIS is targeting at a specific time. And I foresee for the next year, it's going to be the specialty occupation and potentially the maintenance of a status. Again, for all of you, specialty occupation, we pretty much have it covered. And if we need more, we're going to reach out and ask for more. But we have a pretty good handle on how we're addressing this for years. Maintenance of status, we're addressing with making sure that your 20s are signed, that your your pay records are in place, and that kind of covers your maintenance of status. Last year, except for the RFE that I told you about, and it was a maintenance of status, and it wasn't nothing that we would have known because the DSO didn't update service. No one got an RFE from our H-1B petition. So I hope to keep that record standing. Next. Okay, for all of you, I hope to see this coming through. That is a sample of an approval notice from H-1B from, let's see, this was last year. Yeah, October 1st last year. All right, checking in. How are we doing? Now, for those of you that gave me a number before from 1 to 10, and for those of you that didn't, or 0 to 10, 1 to 10, I can't remember. 1 really being, oh my God, I don't know what I'm getting into. I'm really afraid. So 5s and 6s. And how are we doing right now? Tell me that you're still here with me. You have learned. You feel hopefully better and more empowered. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. That is my crew. Yay. Okay, I'm seeing 10s and 7s and 9s and fabulous. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. For some of you, I'm going to be asking you some more questions, but this is good. Okay, next. Travel and others. Okay, question so I'm going to take this very slowly. Can I travel? So if your H-1B is pending, meaning that and actually I even have to back it up because I'm already getting questions about, I want to travel in May before you file my petition. And I'm like, oh, if you only open the news once, you can just Google travel abroad foreign nationals. You're going to see all the news about the issues and the inconsistencies. So you have put a lot of energy, time, money. Your employer has also put a lot of energy into you, and they trust you, they value you. I know travel is important. I've been there. But please, please hold back if you can. So if we file your H-1B petition, so can I travel abroad? If your H-1B petition is filed, no travel abroad whatsoever, because it will disrupt your case. Because what happens is the petition is filed as a change of status. You're not in the United States. There is no change of status because you're not here. So they could take that as an abandonment or maybe approve it but you will not be able to re-enter the United States until October 1st. So that could really disrupt your plans and your ability to work. Then you go, oh, well, but it's already approved. You did such a great job, Giselle. Your team was awesome. It got approved in, April 30th, my H-1B petition was approved. Can I now travel? No, because that H-1B petition, even though it was approved now, is not effective until October 1st. So if you go back out, you have no way of coming back in. So no travel. After October 1st, if it's been approved, yes, you can travel, but expect delays and scrutiny. And you will need a new stamp to enter the United States. Remember, the visa stamp that you have in your passport right now is an F1, not an H-1B. So you will need to process a new H-1B visa abroad before you re-enter, okay? Just because you change status in the United States doesn't mean that you need a new visa stamp. The visa stamp is only to enter the United States. So avoid international travel if possible. It is not the way the system is supposed to work, I would say, in a sense that, you all came to the United States for the opportunities and not to be trapped here. But sometimes, we have to make exceptions. Okay, yeah, still domestic travel, you can, and then that's something else that I say to people, my gosh, so many places in the United States that I haven't even seen that I would love to see and are beautiful. Take the opportunity to do that if you can, okay? Next. If you must travel, before you travel, valid passport, valid visa, which again, it would be an H-1B, I-94, I-797, which would be your H-1B approval notice. Let HR know and let us know if you have questions. Plan for extra airport time and consulate delays. Be ready for questions and the entry, additional questions, as you say. Stay updated on US travel plans. I mean, we have proposed travel bans and all colors, red, yellow, whatever. And those could hit at any point. It's just very, very unstable situation. Okay. Next. Again, if traveling, as I mentioned, you will need a new visa stamp. For some of you, because I'm getting emails also, not myself, but the paralegals. And please, I mean, we have amazing paralegals. Many of you are working with Anne, who's been practicing for over 20 years. Marina has been practicing for 15 years. Priscilla has been practicing for 7 or 8 years. Priscilla has been with me for 3 years. Anne and Marina, I mean, we have an amazing team. Danny, who's working with me here on the background, Les, we have an amazing team. Please reach out to them first before you reach out to me, because my job is more of, getting involved in the cases that potentially they have questions about or they cannot resolve, or, arguing on your behalf. So I need to keep my energy and time for those things. Otherwise, I couldn't help you the best way that I can. But as to consular processing, we're already getting emails as to, I'm going to travel, tell me what to do, The consular processing, again, if we answer every one of those emails, we wouldn't be able to file the H-1B petitions that we're being paid to do. So this is a separate process. You don't need to use our services. We have some resources for you that are added value. They're free. But if you do need a specific help for your case, and I'm going to go to the next step, we do have, and believe me, we've talked about this as a team a lot in terms of what can we provide to you for the best value. We have 3 levels, $400 as the basic level. Go back. you can take a screenshot of this so that you kind of know what is available. $400 for the basic level, $600 for tier 2. Tier 3 is 3,000. I know none of you are going to go there. We typically use that level for high level or very complex consular processing. For most of you, the 400 or the 600 is all that is needed. It goes a long way. We put in a lot more time than what is being paid for, but it is worth to us, it is worth your peace of mind. So just putting it out there for you, because many of you are going to have to consular process, and it is changing as we speak. Okay, next. Okay, this is something else that we're going to give to you if you haven't seen it before. I created an infographic as to what the consular process entails at the very stage. That is free to you. It's very detailed. So that's my, one of our first gifts to you in terms of consular processing and what to do if you don't want the one-on-one help. Okay, next. Okay, pro tips to reduce stress and feel more confident. Let me go through this. One is stay calm and carry on, okay? You are going to be bombarded, as we all are, about everything that is happening in the news in our world, the tariffs, the travel bans, the who knows what. Live the moment, live every day, be patient. USCIS, again, is processing 85,000 petitions. Delays will happen. And that is why we're being so proactive. Literally, we're kind of not pushing aside. We already told our clients, if we're working on some other cases for you, when CAPS, and you didn't give the stuff to us when we ask, CAP season is going to take priority, because we know everything that is involved in this at this time. So we're going to do our best to make sure that you're timely filed and everything it's perfect. Flexibility is key. Now, some of you are going to get your approval notices back, and there may be a spelling mistake. There may be, who knows? Don't panic, okay? It's not our fault. It's typically a USCIS error, okay? They're not going to fix it right away. So just, again, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Timing matters. The H-1B status starts October 1st, not before. Dependent status, I already talked about that. Stay steady and inform is the best thing that we can do. I got a chat question. When is the latest to file the petition? I am not looking at when the latest is to file the petition. I'm looking at, again, half of them are going to be filed this month. Half of them are going to be filed next month. The latest to file the petition is not how I look at it. The answer to that would be June, end of June, because we have a 90-day filing period. But in my mind, I haven't considered that as a question for my team. Okay, next. Pro tips to feel confident. I'm a huge believer in positive mindset. What you think you attract. Go back. Stay in touch. Follow up, follow our updates. I send newsletters. I do the Q&As. I have a YouTube channel. It's all there for you. Okay. We put a lot of our own time into this process so that you don't have to Google the internet and all that kind of stuff. I have applied for STEM OPT. I may edit this slide considering the cap gap now. I think I left that there from last year. Organize your documents, keep your passport, your I-20s, your EADs. I know most of you do this, but it's more important than ever to make sure that your immigration documents are in order, okay? We're here to help. Confidence comes from preparation and support. And we got you, and you've got this process. That's what we're here for. Next. Okay, I mentioned the YouTube channel. If you have not been there, you can scan that QR code. There's tons of information in there. Many of you may have already been there and watched this video from last year, which again, this is very updated and different. Next. Okay, my why and why I care about your journey and myself and my team. I would say I think this applies not just to me, but to all of us. I've lived it. I've been where you are right now twice. I've devoted my career to this. It's hard for me to believe. It's 20 years plus practicing immigration, and I'm still as passionate as I was when I started. And I believe in you. I totally believe that you are an asset to our country and that you deserve to be here and you deserve to have your dreams fulfilled because you're working to achieve your dreams. So your skills, your dreams, your resilience to me is exactly what the United States needs. And we're here to help you get there. Okay. We actually a few other things very quickly. You were selected, you are on your way. I mean, many others are still wishing they were in your situation. We're honored to be by your side. To me, you're not a number, your story in motion, and you're not alone. We're here to keep you moving forward. That is going to bring me to the next slides. I mentioned to you before that I just will actually goes live on Amazon tomorrow. I've dedicated a year in addition to other things that I do and in my work and my life to write this book, The Corporate Immigration Advantage, How to Hire, Retain, and Thrive with Global Talent in a Competitive World. I am going to be doing right after this at 2:00 to 2:30 a short party to celebrate you and to celebrate the launch of this book. It would be my honor to have you attend. Some of you had sevens on your, on your score. Actually, thanks for putting that up there. This is the QR code. It's going to be a Zoom call. So please go ahead and scan that QR code right now. I hope that you can take the time to join me at 2:00. Some of the things that I'm going to do, celebrate you. How many on the chat, tell me, have taken the time to stop and say, so in the chat, you can tell me yes or no. And oh my gosh, I actually got selected on the H-1B cap, and this is going to transform my life for the next 6 years and beyond. How many of you have taken the time to process that in? Tell me in the chat. I mean, I know I'm one of those that just keeps going. Yes, no, still processing. Oh, some of you are a yes. Okay, that's fabulous. Good for you. Yes. Well, I'm going to give you one more opportunity for those of you that are saying yeses, for those of you that are still kind of unsure to come and join me. A few things that I'm going to do during that during that little party. Again, it's very, very short. Celebrate you in a sense that, I think this is a big deal, especially right now when foreign talent and foreign nationals are kind of looked at as we don't add value to this country. That is not right. I will do 3 giveaways. 3 of them are going to be Ask Me Anything. So if you're one of those that still has questions, that is still a 7, or, more of a one-on-one with me, this is your chance for, as a courtesy, just because I so value and I want to give you more peace of mind if I can. And even if you're one of my staff, you can get one of those Ask Me Anything prices. It's going to be anyone that is there. It's going to be open to get a gift, one of those gifts. So 3 Ask Me Anything giveaways and 3 of this books signed autograph that you will get is not a book about law necessarily. Of course, it has law. And if you are a foreign national wanting to know more about the processes ahead, I talk about the green card process, the EB1, the EB2, the EB3, with real examples. And it's very storytelling. And it brings in the emotions that go through all this process. So I would also, if you have never written a book or you have something like that in mind, I will talk a little bit about what the process was. And so I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be, light, 30 minutes, 20 minutes of light. Just take a break and recharge. Okay. So I hope to see you all there. Take a copy or scan that QR code. See you at 2 o'clock, 2:30, 2 to 2:30 or less. Next. And this is something else that this is hard work. It's hard work for everyone. I want to say hard work because it is. It's emotional. It's a very, very emotional work. We love to hear from you. This is something from last year. I sincerely appreciate the entire Mark's great team for their dedication and support throughout my case. And of course, a special thank you for the amazing webinars. They have been truly invaluable. And, it takes, not every attorney, not every team takes the time to do this. We do it because we appreciate you all. So this is one that was selected from the H-1B cap last year and sent us that at the, during the process. So if you have some, positive comments to send our way, we value it. And again, I am honored, and I'm speaking for me, and I'm speaking for the team, to partner with you and your employers. We have the highest respect for what you do, for your going through, and the work that you do and what you contribute to the country. So thank you for being here. Look forward to a smooth process and look forward to seeing you at 2 o'clock. Maybe you can win some other things and celebrate you. All right. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.